Myanmar Nangan Minglaba.
The president began his journey to Asia, traveling 18 hours on the plane, but 24 hours on the clock. On Sunday afternoon, he arrived in the Kingdom of Thailand, America's oldest ally in Asia. On his first trip abroad since his re-election, the president met up with the Secretary of State and kicked off his visit at the stunning Wat Po Royal Monastery, where the head monk introduced him to sacred Buddhas in exchange for removing his shoes. Then it was on to the Government House of Thailand for his official welcome ceremony, guest book signing, and bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Shinawatra. Later, the two leaders hosted a news conference before adjourning to a formal official dinner. On the way to his hotel, he made a stop to thank the embassy staff for all their work on behalf of the United States and to give a special thanks to some of the youngest family members in the crowd. On Monday, the President and Secretary of State began a truly historic journey to Burma, the first for an American president, on their last foreign trip together. After a colorful arrival ceremony, they were greeted by thousands of people lining the street as they traveled to meet with President Thein Sein for a bilateral meeting at the Parliament building. And then to the Shwedagon Pagoda, the holiest cultural site in Burma.
This is for nearly 250 years.
The President and Secretary of State met with Nobel Peace Prize winner and opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi at her home, where they spoke about ongoing efforts to support and encourage Burma's democratic transition. Then it was on to the American Embassy, where they thanked staff, their families, and more adorable kiddos.
Okay, that's a nice one. That's beautiful. Who's got a pump? Who's got a pump?
Before traveling on to their final stop in Burma, where the President reflected on his historic visit in an address to the Burmese people.
United States.
There you go. That's me. Today I say to you, and I say to everybody that can hear my voice, that the United States of America is with you, including those who've been forgotten, those who are dispossessed, those who are ostracized, those who are poor. We carry your story in our heads and your hopes in our hearts. Because in this 21st century, with the spread of technology and the breaking down of barriers, the front lines of freedom are within nations and individuals, not simply between them.
That evening, the President traveled on to Cambodia, touching down in his third country of the day, where he attended the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN Leaders meeting, then joined up with all the East Asia Summit leaders, who had all donned their own versions of batik shirts for the occasion. On Tuesday, before the East Asia Summit officially convened, the President held bilateral meetings, first with Prime Minister Noda of Japan, and then Premier Wen of China. Then it was time for day 2 of the East Asia Summit, with the group gathering for the traditional family photo and getting down to work at the plenary session. The President capped off his visit by taking some time to thank the embassy staff, their families, and then, well, you guessed it, it was time to go home. Continuing on with his journey eastward and completing a circumnavigation of the globe, the President returned to Washington early Wednesday morning, just in time for a very special pardoning.